Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's Mary Beckman from Metaphysical Meltdown. I'm really happy to see you. I have been taking lots of time to integrate some work I've been doing. So I took, gosh, I don't remember how many days, an awful lot. We restructured and moved things around. So hoping it's going to be better. It's certainly going to be more fun. So I am so happy to have Kelleher from Haunted Healings on with me today. I've also got lots of people next week, and we'll tell you more about that later. So let's just go right into it. Kelly, I welcome you to Metaphysical Meltdown. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
So you are a Seattle-based person. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
I'm, I guess, a natural healer, psychic healer as well. And I have a group called Haunted Healings. And we go out to places and homes, and recently several different ranches, horse ranches, and places that needed healing. For whatever reason, people were being poked or prodded, or they had bad feelings, or overwhelmingness of feeling sad and sorrowful. And so we went out there and we blessed the land. And there's a lot of limestone and crystal quartz underneath, and that tends to hold a lot of energy, like loops of energy. So sometimes there's a spirit, but it's not even interacting or awakened or intelligent. It's just a memory, just like a video loop over and over again. So we'll go over there and clear that, especially if there's crystal quartz. And we put crystal quartz and shungite on the four corners of the property, and that tends to clear the energy, do some prayers and saging, and depending on the situation. And usually that helps to heal and bless.
And that's a family business, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
How many years? It's a lot, many lifetimes of folks doing that kind of work, right?
Yes, thousands of years. And this is not just mine. There's other people as well. And then Haunted Healings is international, and people that we've helped, they've gone on to do their own haunted healings. So, wow. And many of them just reconnect with their past lives and energies or ancestors or connections, guardians, guides, angels, and they connect and they're able to do the same thing, knowing that somehow they pick up the messages from before, the wisdom from before, if you will.
So people call you or text you and say, I've got something going on in my house or on the land. And then sometimes you go there, and sometimes can you clear by yourself from your home remotely?
Definitely, and especially if it's out of the state and we're not able to get there, because we do not charge for haunted healings. It is our belief is if a spirit asks for help, it's kind of our duty to help, because we never know if that's going to be us one day. Sure. For whatever reason, if something you just can't get out of that fog, or you're caught up in that depression, or whatever energy that's holding you down, we go in and clear that energy so that they can go home. So that's
true. I mean, I really feel like we need to be so kind to whatever energy is in a home, because really it is. It's just another human, usually. Have you ever gone up against something that wasn't a human?
Yes. And there was a few incidents that I really learned that after you are done blessing or consecrating a sacred space and getting rid of those energies, that you also do not forget, once you walk out, you cleanse yourself. Well, I had been with a group once where we had gone in, and this house was very, very chaotic. And we were so caught up that everything was wonderful, and it had been so fixed and so magnificently beautiful. And at the end, when you're clearing a home, especially a home, you will smell roses or hyacinths, some kind of essence. And it just felt so wonderful. We were caught up in that, totally forgot about saging ourselves and releasing whatever energies were around us as well. We went out to dinner, we had a great time, then everybody went home. And that morning, at the time, my beautiful kitty, Luna, who was my familiar at the time, I was in a deep sleep, and she was on my hip, and all of a sudden she jumped off, and I felt like this laughter. I didn't hear laughter, I felt laughter, and something grabbed the sides of my stomach, like tickling me, but it was a harsh tickle. And all of a sudden I reconnected right what that was is I forgot to sage myself. I forgot to, for the whole group. So I called everyone and we all did that. And then we reconvened and got back together, went back to the place again, saged the whole house again, even though it was wonderful and cleansed and it was beautiful. And then we did ourselves again, gave it back to the Mother Earth so that she could take care of it, you know, that just pulls all that negative energy, or even just the stagnant energy. And so that pulled that all down. And then we resaged again, and then we were fine. Nobody else had that experience, but I did, and I learned. It was that one time. So that was my, for cleaning a place. I have definitely dealt with those things that are not of this world, and they are not of love and light. But again, when you walk in that pure unconditional love, there's nothing that can come against you if you stand strong and true in that power. So that's exactly what we do.
Absolutely. That's so important. That
Yes.
I lost you there for a second. Sorry about that. I think I interrupted you and then I lost the video, kind of went, wow. Yeah, I think once we have that time or two when something comes home with us, we remember, but not always do, because exactly what you were saying, you feel so good. The energy feels so good, and you never know what might be cloaked or hanging back and kind of just waiting for its next portal, or I don't know what you want to call it, but can you tell everybody the difference between the levels of things you might see in the home? Can you just give a couple of examples of when somebody says, my house doesn't feel good, or I don't feel good, I think it's my house? What could you encounter there?
So, okay, if someone were to just call and say something just doesn't feel right, I would definitely go into circle, set up circle, and call in my guides and angels and ancestors. And I would try to see what I can see going on there. In that case, if it's just that it just doesn't feel right, something's not right. It could be someone moved in nearby of a different energy. It could be something that got loose, or, you know, that's the best word I can say, that it got loose.
Mm-hmm.
And came through is trying to mess with that energy. Because if it's been really good for a long time, then all of a sudden there's something attached, something came in with someone, there's something going on. So going in circle, I'm able to see, is this really a spiritual energy, or is this more an emotional energy? A lot of times it's emotional, like maybe they didn't have time to grieve over someone that they loved, right? And now that they're calm and things are winding down and they feel a little better, and say they took care of the whole family but not themselves, now that energy is kind of coming through, and it's their own sadness. And we definitely can help with that too. And I'll definitely come over and help, or we'll come as a group and just anyways just do a little blessing, and again put the quartz and shungite. I'm so happy with Derek and Maureen Condit, who do the shungites, because we've learned now, using that with the crystals, not only does the shungite protect the bees and change the frequencies, but using crystal quartz and shungite really blesses the land even more so, and keeps the strength of the family, or if it's like the horse ranches I was talking about, keep that loving energy going, and protects them even, I would say, 100-fold. So it's amazing how much this is working. And so we can come and do that and just bless them that way and help them to overcome. And maybe there's a message from a loved one or something. We can work in that way. But that again is sometimes more on the psychic side, as opposed to really coming out and doing a haunted healing, which there's a place that's haunted, they're having a lot of trouble and they need help right away.
So what you're talking about is also, as another part to it, is maybe there's a whole lot of souls in the area that needs to cross, right?
Yes.
And so I know you are a psychopomp, as I am too. We're soul crossing people. That's something we do. Could you talk about that? But the other thing I don't want to forget to talk about is, could you talk about when you come in circle, what are you doing when you get in the circle into the house?
So remember that if you want to. So remember, we all know that salt is the salt of the earth, right? It's the essence of life. We need salt, we need water. We use that as a grounding, not a tool, a grounding energy.
Mhm.
So when you set up a circle and put salt around you, that's a salt of protection. We'll also do that around the perimeter of the place or around the people as well if they're there. Pardon me, my little kitty Persia just walked in. Um, if you see a tail go by, that's her.
Okay.
And what's really interesting, if I have to do a circle around here, I will always get one of the cats to come in and just kind of walk by and participate.
Sure.
Very interesting. Or if we're at a place and they have an animal, dog, cat, bunny, we've had a gopher, we have a couple different, a emu, emu that
Uh-huh.
came once. And so setting up circle, they tend to come in and put their own mark, their own energy. But I will put a circle of salt around, and then I will ask in spirit and ask my guides, and usually light candles and put energy out and try to find out what's going on and for a haunting. But for myself, I will first empower myself, ask my guardians, my guides, my angels, my ancestors, anyone who wants to come of love and light to help in this matter and to help me see, psychically what's going on here so that we can help. And when it's the intention of wanting to help another person or another being, it always comes through. It might take a little while and a little bit of patience, but usually I'll get an idea of what's happening and the different layers and what's going on. So I will do that beforehand, before going to anyone's home or doing anything like that. And then we really like to get them to write it down. I have an elder, Leon Reed, who taught me that when they write it down, it's all their emotion and all their energy. And it's as if it's a contract in a way that they're ready to heal it. They're ready to help get the situation, whatever the energy and things are, taken care of, and including doing their own responsible part, which is being aware and really, if we have homework for them to do afterwards, to continue, maybe they have to sage every day. Maybe it was a really thick layers and layers of energies. Maybe they have to go out there, and when they're angry, we find another outlet for them instead of sitting at home and putting all that energy, especially if they're very awakened and very, I would say, I guess, emotional and very empathic. Their own energies can kind of come out throughout the whole house. And so we work with them so that they can kind of tone that down and go outside and get your yayas out, but come back home and keep that as your sanctuary. So that's kind of, if that makes sense. So it's my way of doing circle, but I walk the path of the goddess and the gods. And so it's the Christ consciousness. It's really, I'm open to all paths of love and light. And that will usually come forth as to, depending what the situations are, what's going on with a place that is haunted. So I'm asking both for my own energies and protection, but then the intention is to help who's ever in need, whether they are the persons at the home or the place or the land. We do a lot of shambolic healing as well, especially with lands, and doing offerings for the lands and for the energies and the elementals, fairy energy, whatever's out there, so that they all, and Native Americans as well, for anyone that really, so they understand that we're coming from a place of love and light, and we're here to bless and help heal. And ultimately, it's my belief that 99.999% of spirits are really, they're really of love and light. Do you know what I mean? Very rarely do we get something that's so horrible or so terribly haunted, to put it that way. Very rarely, because when you come with love and light, and even then, let it be as horrible as that is, we can still fix it as long as we have the others on the same level. In other words, the people that called me and said, we want to get this out of this home, we need your help, then they really have to be a part of that. They have to go with us, and whether it's singing the songs that need to be sung, doing the prayers that need to be done, bringing in other people from other paths, whether they're priests or rabbis or pastors or whatever it is, we bring them in as well. And so it's a communal, let's say, effort of really healing and making this fixed and finished once and for all, so that the future generations will have peace and love, and they can continue to do whatever they need to do without this negativity.
Yes, exactly. It's very layered because sometimes I
Yes.
encounter people who they're just scared. And then occasionally then there's people who think it's really cool to have the ghost that's causing havoc in the house, but the rest of the family doesn't. So what Kelly's talking about, everybody, is it's a layered effect. And she's just a master at all of this. So I want to say hi to some of our friends that have come on with us this morning. And we have some questions. Are you cool with questions?
I'm cool.
You are so cool. And everybody, I personally know this woman. She's a very fast psychic, and she's generally, I mean, I have to say, just extremely accurate, you guys, extremely. So Lori is here, and Lizzie and Edie, and our sister Kelly, Helma, Vonda, June, Amanda, China. Okay, so China's question, I'm going to wait a little bit longer because I'm going to get that too. Going to ask the question is, what can folks do? We'll hold on to that for just a minute. The awesome question that I don't want to miss is Diane's question. This is cousin Diane. So she is experiencing smelling something burning. She can't quite find it. It goes and it comes back. She's also experiencing loud pounding on the doors that wakes her up when she's sleeping.
What time?
Can you say when, hon? This has been going on for a while. The pounding's been going on for a while, and the smelling has been going on for a while. So I know the story, so that's why I'm kind of adding to it. But I'm not gonna say any more than what she's got going on there. Can you say when it happened? So at night, so when it's happening at night, Diane, what time does it make any difference? Then let's go back and we'll say hi to everybody else. Just, I have to tell you guys, I've really missed you, but I want you to know that I am absolutely back. And so thank you so much for everybody who connected with me to see if something was going on that was wrong. It's not. It was great. It was just upgrading. Woo! And when you upgrade, as you guys all know, because it's happening to most, you have to have a rest. And so I was doing a lot of resting. She's saying in the wee morning hours, 2 or 3.
So 3 is a very significant, excuse me. 3 is a very significant time. And that's actually what I get sometimes too, where there'll be a knocking or something will start shaking around 2 or 3. Most of the time, those are my spirit guides trying to talk to me. I wasn't listening to something before, or I was so caught up in another healing or a reading for someone, and I'm still kind of in that foggy energy once it's finished and cleared. So the burning, I'm getting like there was something that happened, and it's a twofold. Is this a home she's at or an apartment?
An apartment.
So there's a twofold here. One was when she was younger, there was an experience. If it wasn't her house, it was a nearby house, and it terrified her. Does that seem right?
That I don't know.
Okay. It's a twofold because it's the child within that experienced this and was really worried, and there's a fear on that level kind of carried through to now. The other thing is I'm getting there's something that happened in this apartment building. So it may have been the land before the building.
Okay.
So there's an energy there. I could be wrong, but this is, and you say how great I am, but I mean, I'm like everybody else. It's just, I get what comes through, right? And
yeah, exactly. We do, but I just have to tell people that I've known her for a long time. And if I got something pretty substantial, I ask Kelly. So,
and vice versa, my dear.
do you see a person trying to speak to her from the other side? A specific?
Yes, I do. And it's a relative. It's not a scary thing. So this is not a guide, but it is definitely someone that crossed over that wants her to understand that they needed to go. They didn't mean to go. It wasn't about leaving her alone. It was about they could not stay any longer. There was too much pain.
Ah.
Too much pain. And that will help her to overcome some of this abandonment, because they're right there. They're with her. They're not leaving her.
Beautiful.
And she can just call them. And as we all know, our loved ones sometimes will leave us feathers and shiny coins or just little beads and things that you have no idea how it got there. Just their little way of leaving essences for us to let us know that we're not forgotten and they'll be with us when it's our time.
Absolutely.
Helps out.
Can I ask you, this is very odd, but Diane is my family and she'll be cool if I ask this. Was there also a message for me in that?
With the fire or with the knocking?
The fire.
So were you guys together at one point? Do you remember growing up together when
Yeah.
it has to be a connection with the fire. It has to be a connection that either she told you about this and she was so shocked, or that
Yeah,
you
she doesn't
witnessed
remember.
it.
She doesn't remember that. That building she lives in was made in the 50s, but she and I are really connected. And somebody else got, well, I got her dad was around her for sure, but somebody else got my dad was around, and that it was a message for me too.
Okay, so that would make more. So it's not about the fire, it's about just the messenger coming through.
And then later, my neighbor's house burned down that night, right after we were talking about it. So I couldn't have had that message for the neighbor. I don't know them. They're way down the block from me. So the psychic that brought it through said there's a pay attention message for both of us, because both of our dads they're totally in cahoots. These two dads on the other
I would say yes. Yes.
And that's my uncle from my mom's side, but that's my dad, and she loved my dad a lot and he loved her. So
And they're both gatekeepers. They're both gatekeepers now. And
they sure are.
so she needs to pay attention. If she has a journal by her bed, just a little notebook, it's good for all of us. I have one too.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in the middle of the night, you'll just wake up and you get something. As fast as you can, write it down and then go back to sleep. Because
Okay.
it's very important now more than ever, because they are trying to come through. But it's also, remember, it's a choice, and they're not here to overwhelm us, but they're here to guide us. So there's a big connection there. But I hope she will think about when she was a child with this fire.
Okay.
There's a significance, almost a fear, as if that could happen to her. And I think if she does some kind of study about the apartment building, there was a major fire before they built on top of this.
Oh,
Which may be why they built the apartment building. Like, I'm getting it may have been a barn or something like that, and then that was destroyed. And then there may have been another business, and that was destroyed by fire, and then now the building, which is not going to be destroyed by fire. Just heard that.
Oh, I wonder if that was that other building that was across the street too, Diane. You know what I'm talking about. She says she's been smelling it for months and months.
Has she been saging her own place?
Well, she probably will now.
And it wouldn't hurt to go across the street to that building too. Maybe because she's becoming so awakened and so connected to her own gifts, and she's connected with you, that somehow these spirits, she's kind of like a little bit of a beacon, and they're just kind of coming through and saying, can you help me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think if she would be able to go across this, maybe together you could go across and go do that building, it'll really heal that energy, and I don't think she'll smell it anymore.
Awesome.
There's a connection because of her childlike energy. When she was younger, whatever happened, it was really traumatic for her when she saw this, and it was nearby. I mean,
oh my God, I saw a fire when I was a little kid. The whole entire place across the street from my mom and dad's house burned down. I don't
so
know.
maybe it was you telling her about it. Okay, so that's
she and I we're very connected, and she's the most beautiful soul. You would just love her, and Diane, you would love Kelly. You guys are kindred folk in so many ways. Okay, so Lori Wilson wants to know, she has activity in her current home. She says she's not scared. However, they don't understand not to touch me and boundaries.
No matter what is going on, even if it's our own angels, let's say, and we're connecting with our angels, and we ask to be shown certain things, and they show, and it becomes a little bit too much, we always have the power, because this is a choice. We are here. to say, please, can you slow it down a little bit? Or that's too much for me, I need to process it. And they will always step back.
Okay.
Same thing for spirits. So she needs to say, this is my, well, first of all, okay, no matter what, I'll say this part, no matter what, we have the power, the ultimate power, and we work in unconditional love. She needs to brighten and put love all through that whole place that she's in. But there's something that came in from, I want to say, an ex-partner, or maybe someone that she was very close to that turned out to be very aggressive. She'll know who that is. And if not in the place she's in now, it came with her, so that energy needs to go.
Okay.
And that may be what's kind of trying to get her when she's really tired or really depressed, or really, if it's coming like that, when she's really exhausted and these things are happening, actually, it doesn't matter when, but as to give her an understanding that if that's when it's really happening, she needs to stand up, take accountability, and say, this is my home, this is my property, this is my sanctuary. There is nothing but love and light that may come. Anything of love and light must go. It's really good if you repeat it 3 times. It works. It's always worked when we say it 3 times. We say, in love and light, we command you to leave and never return. And we say it 3 times. And that, for some reason, solidifies it. And that's when we usually put the crystal and shungite down. So
Okay.
I would advise her to do the same thing. Just do it in the northeast, southwest corners of her home. You know, earth, air, fire, water, the same.
Sure.
The element.
Okay. Awesome.
And,
well, she's all about the shungite, so sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah, shungite's awesome. It's amazing. And if there is any kind of frequency that's leaching in, that'll push it right out. Because no one should be poked like that or anything. It's a difference if, you know, you have a loved one in spirit and you can feel them come and embrace you. That's an angelic embrace. It's another thing if you're being touched and you don't want to be, that has to go.
Yeah, and drawing the line is really important because
Yes.
I'm a couple different types of medium where I can have them come in my body and they'll change your face and they'll speak out your mouth because they're in there. And I tell them, don't you do that, because I don't do that very often. That's
Right.
like once in 6 blue moons, right? It's just mediumship, which I'm, kind of, yeah. So you can just tell them, don't get in my body now, or don't come next to me, because this is my sovereign vessel. This is mine. I'm on this plane. You're on another plane, and we can talk. But getting in or touching, you really got
all your guides and your guardians, I would assume they would not dare to.
That's sometimes other people's family. So Lori, we can definitely chat about that later. She says she is doing some of that stuff, so she's very plugged in. Well, we can look at that later. Okay, so let's see what else. Okay, so Anna Krieger says, I live in a haunted house. I'm trying to understand how to clear out the bad energy. So that will also connect up with China's question is, what do you do? How do you keep your house clean? What do you do?
It really helps. I don't care if we've blessed a home 1,000 times, keep doing that, at least, if not weekly, monthly. Set a time that you're going to walk around the perimeter and inside and out and sage it. If you don't like the smell of sage, you can use rosemary. You can use, there's many different oils. Some people use lavender, some people use rose oil. But you can put it in water, a couple of drops of the oil, and spray it. You don't have to do the smoke. So I'm just putting that out there so people know. We've gone to a few homes where people were asthmatic or had COPD, so we use the spray. But it's with the intention, right? And you're still, if you're not using smoke, you're still using an element of water with the oil, with that beautiful energy. So putting the sage water all around and blessing it. And then whatever comes to you, whether it's a prayer or a song, or a lot of times the one I use almost all the time when I'm walking around and making sure a place is blessed is, again, like I said earlier, in love and light, we bless and consecrate the sacred space. Nothing but love and light may come. Nothing of love and light, but of love and light may enter without my permission. So if that helps, that's a good way to continue that. If you're living in a haunted house, people have come and helped, and it's still haunted, then you need a real vigorous people who are very, it takes time, it takes energy, where they come in and they really do hard work, and you need to be a big part of that as well. So I've had a few situations where I blessed, actually recently, not too long ago, where we worked so hard and I brought in extra people to come in and extra people on the outside to hold, because it was almost as if there was a vortex, but it wasn't. They just kept bringing them back in, like water. They just kept bringing, every time we'd go, something else would come in. And we had cleansed the land. We had put the layers out there of protection and crystal quartz. We had absolved all the sad energies and years and years and years of energies, from actual animal energies to human energies to all kinds of energies. But then they kept bringing more and more in. So it was absolutely getting exhausted. So we had them participate with us and go around and see. And once they began to understand and walk, because they didn't want to, they wanted us to do it and not do the work. You have to be a part of it, because you have to be a part of the solution if it's your sanctuary and you're living there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So here's a further question from Lori with the touching spirit. She's letting us know there's a cemetery a block away. And then she says,
I like your laugh.
and then I feel like it's disruptive from the grounds. That she has a feeling that there's something disruptive.
Is there a wooded area in the back of the cemetery? Like, you don't hear birds, it's kind of stale energy. I really need to know that.
Okay. She's still on there. She'll tell us in a second. So gosh, there's lots and lots of folks on and some more questions. And so we want to say hi to Debbie, and then our own sister, Debbie Clements, is having a birthday today. We want to say that.
Happy birthday, Deb.
Yeah. And there's Linda, our very own Linda is on, and our brother Patrick is on. So hello, Shaman Patrick. And then, so we want to say, oh, there's Lloyd.
And Kelly.
Yep, our Kelly is there for sure. I miss Kelly from up there. Marty has a question while we're getting Lori to answer that. So we've got Chris on there too. So Marty's question, hold on, Marty. I'm scrolling down to your question. How do you remove an intention or a curse sent to you by somebody with ill intent?
My grandma always taught me that the curses don't work unless you accept them. So I will work directly with that person and what they believe the curse was. And then it's as if you put up a mirror. It's not, a lot of times I've had to do it physically with someone, where they hold up the mirror and they send the energy back. It's not about harming the person that did it. It's about clearing that energy so it can never be sent again. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't give them whoever did that type of thing. Usually, from my honest belief, people who do curses are not as connected in power as they like to think they are. Absolutely. Right? And some get paid to do it, so they think they're great and powerful. I am not meaning disrespect on those who others would call a curse when they're trying to, and I just need to say this. So there are some people whose specific job is to go out there and clear energies and fix what's going on. They have the capability. They're very empathic, empowered, very strong, and they send energies to make other people stop hurting others. So some people on the other end of that would call it a curse. Mm-hmm. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you know somebody, either they sent you a message or they tell you there's something buried I've had experiences where someone buried hair and something written out in a cemetery. Had a friend go with this woman and go down and dig it up. They were told where it was. And dig it up, and we burned it, and we just put love and light to it, and we sent that energy back with the mirror, but only the fact that they cannot harm anymore. It's not that you bind, because you don't want to bind anybody, because then you're responsible for that. It's about sending in love and light you protect everything, and then you send such a beacon of love and light that they can't handle it and they can never do that again.
Yeah.
So it's really about not believing those curses and going within and finding your own power, because we all have these gifts and power. We're supposed to be here. And whether or not we made a mistake or not, it doesn't matter, because it's unconditional love. You hold on to that unconditional love, send that mirror back. And a really good way is to put, I've had people who, sorry, there's a lot of things coming through with that. That's quite a question, Marty. Um, but so if you're, the best way is, so you want to protect yourself. So we're using a bar of soap, right? And we're in the shower. When the soap gets down to about like that big, if you take it and you go on the back of the doors, it doesn't matter what your belief is, put a cross, put a pentagram, put whatever elemental energies or whatever feels good to you, and draw it in a circle, the circle of life. Draw it with that soap, because nobody else can see that, but it's on your doors.
Right.
Some people will actually do it on their headboards as well, because especially if they're astral projecting and they're dreaming and they're connecting, they want to come back in smoothly, and they don't want any other energies to be a part of that. So it works really, really well. It's your own essence, because you've put it all over your body, and it's all about cleaning and washing and preserving and coming back to, whatever you've gone through for the day. When you do that and put that on your doors, that's another way of putting the mirror back, so that nothing can come in without your permission. Kind of like when you put a shield on yourself as an empath. Nothing can come in without your permission, but anything you wish to put out in love and light continues on. So that's a really, really good, not only an observant tool, but it's a psychological, emotional, physical, and spiritual tool that helps to return whatever curse, whatever energies might come against you.
Right.
So and the most important thing is, we know that crystal quartz holds energies. So go get yourself a rose quartz crystal, or a clear crystal, or whatever calls to you. But for me, it's rose quartz and clear crystals. And I will hold on to them and put energies of all love and light. I'll put them out under the window during the moonlight. Even if the moon, you can't see it from your window, she can reach through and bless it. It's, again, another conscious way of doing something and putting energy in there of all love and light. And then if you feel that there's anything that's coming against you, hold those and put them up and just say, in love and light, I bless myself, I bless my home, nothing can come against me. And however you want to put that, it's your own way of returning to sender, that they can never again do this to you. And it really works. It's very, very simple, but it's something our ancestors used to do if they felt that there was a curse or something was coming at them and there were too many negativities. They would not just do it in their home, they would go out again on the perimeter of the land, doing the same thing and blessing it and saying nothing can come in. And the more you do that with crystal quartz, because it holds energy, it's your own energy, and it pushes away anything that you don't want in your home. And that's why you'll see a lot of people wearing crystal quartz with them as well, or rose quartz, because it just bounces off. There's no one, I honestly believe there's no one above us or below us. There's no one better than us. We're all just on different levels, and we're all growing, and we're all worthy. We're all, and in that worthiness and in that unconditional love of us being here, we have the right to protect ourselves and our families and our loved ones. We have a right to walk in pure, unconditional light and love, and be at peace wherever we are. So sometimes just carrying that little crystal quartz makes a big difference. You had given me a crystal quartz pyramid, and I will carry that when I'm out and about, especially if there's a real heavy energy. And it's just amazing. It's just, I feel like these wings come out from here and behind me, and I can do anything. I feel like I can do anything and bless anyone. There's no fear. It's like a protection with me. If I don't have Stacy or the others who ground me, like Patrick and Stacy, then I have that and I'm okay. So it really helps a lot. And it's just amazing.
It is. It works really well. I hope everybody heard that, because there's a couple things going on in what Kelly was saying. I just want to make a very brief comment, is that people who send out curses will always be stopped if you want to say it, by those of us who send out love, because love's the higher frequency. So for anybody who does send out that kind of stuff, you can kind of make the connection to everybody that has been so angry since the Scorpio moon. Okay. So those of us who stay in anger or stay in love all the time, that is a responsibility, kids. It's a responsibility to keep sovereignty over your energy field. So that is what it's about. We're going to learn that we have to walk the talk. If we are spiritual people, we want to go to the highest energy available to us today. That's all you need to know right there. What's the highest energy available to us today? It's not being pissy on Facebook, I'll tell you that. So absolutely, definitely. So let's start again. I've got another, yeah, so Cheryl says you answered her question. That's awesome. And Marty, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, she says, thank you. This makes total sense. I will share this with the person who asked me. I wasn't sure how to answer her. Awesome. Okay. Now, oh, and there's Valerie. So Anna says that haunted house we were talking about there. Anna says it's still haunted because people have cleansed it and blessed it. Keeps coming back. I think because of my aunt, but it's affecting her in significant ways. She's losing her memory. Her health is diminishing, and it's acting like she's lost in her regular life. She can't remember 90% of anything. It's very depressing because she's diabetic. The only thing I would say now is this energy that's coming through, it is clearing us to the best of our abilities. If a person has an awful lot going on, let's say their diet is not good, they don't get outside, move around, or they have let's call it pre-existing conditions. How many times have we heard that? This energy is harder right now. So we've had the messages for years. We got to clear ourselves, right? And so I just want to remind you, Anna, that you're not responsible for anybody. You're just responsible for you. So do what you can do, because at this point, if there are people out there, and there's a chunk of humanity now who will stay in 3D. They will. They're going to stay there. And it's not for us to hoist them up, because that feels too heavy for us. We cannot do that. We are not responsible for anybody but ourselves. Ba-da-ba-dum-bum. I don't know. Spirit told me to say that. Okay. And then, okay. So Chris says, I have a dermatologist appointment next month. My doctor thinks it might be skin cancer on my head. Do you see that? This is Chris Blanchard Vincenti.
Sorry, that was a big jump from the aunt, but from the other one.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that it's life and death. That's what I'm getting. It's not life and death.
Okay. Yeah. And he's thinking about it an awful lot. So please to put your mind.
That's the part. So when you were talking about, okay, the people on Facebook and all the stuff that's going on, we all get caught up on things, but it's about loving one another regardless of whatever their beliefs are, regardless of whatever path they're on. We always, if we would step back from the chaos and step back, there's always, what is that expression? If someone comes at you, it's 90%, or how they react to you is 90% of what they've been through.
Oh, absolutely.
And 10% of how we respond. It's the same thing. And there are some factions that are trying to divide and conquer, and keep one on one side and one on the other, but later on you find truths to both sides. It's not about that anymore. It's about really standing your ground and walking the walk, as you said. And if we're really conscious, loving beings, regardless if someone has a different belief than you, that's not grounds to attack. That's not grounds to hate or to go after them. I've seen so much intolerance and on all the spectrums of people that I thought were so awakened and so sacred, and they just cut people off like they're nothing after years and years of friendship. So we really have to hold on to the love and light. We really have to be forgiving of ourselves, forgiving of others, and not judge. We don't know why they believe what they believe, and it's not our business. Our job is to love. So if I can just put that part out there.
Absolutely.
The one who's thinking that the cancer, it might be, but it's not something that I'm not feeling life and death. However, again, I'll go back to like with the news and things. People are watching the news and they're getting so caught up and so full of anxiety that they're terrified. And when you're that afraid and full of anxiety, it's like a welcoming mat for negativity. It's a welcoming mat for illnesses and sicknesses. Put on some crystal quartz and shungite and take a nap. It's really important. Get some rest, right? Put some beautiful music on. Get up there and start dancing, you know, get some scarves and play with them. And I don't care who you are, have some fun, let your inner child come out and play. It's about reconnecting to who you are, right? And not connecting to the I guess they're like little claws out there trying to pull you in and pull you away from who you are and what you're supposed to be doing in love and light, and what you could be doing that could benefit you in the future, because you're continuing to walk in love and light, right? And we all fall down, we all have horrible bad days, and we get mad at people and everything. That's okay. We're still in a human vessel, right? It's okay. We're still loved no matter what. And just one more thing too about the curses. A lot of times we feel guilty for something we did in the past. And that's why some curses have a way of attaching. Let it go, because love is unconditional. I always say, when you look into a newborn baby's eyes, that's pure divinity there. There is no original sin. There is no evil. There is nothing but pure sacred light. They've just come from divinity. They're a hope for all of us. We need to get back to that, because that child's within us, right? We need to come back to that. When we do cross over, that pure unconditional love and light is right there with us. And a year ago, I almost crossed over myself. And it's not the first time, but each time there were only 3 questions asked. Not what bad did you do, Kelly, and why did you do this and that? Nothing like that. The 3 questions were, what love did you learn? What love did you give? And what love do you bring home? That's it. So if we can hold on to that, there's nothing we can't do with that pure unconditional love. And it's for all of us. It belongs to all of us. So if the only thing you can think of, go back to the newborn baby's eyes. You don't have children, that's fine. Go look on the video, watch a newborn baby. You'll see what I'm talking about. We all have that. That's our connection. And that's where we go back home.
It is exciting, and I'm hoping everybody is reflective on last week, because we had that big Scorpio moon that made everybody become like a bunch of, I don't know, screaming baboons, maybe with the red butt. I don't know how else to explain it. That's how it seemed to be. And generally I'm the most positive person you're ever going to meet. But I came in from outside and said to my husband, people suck, I suck. And he goes, come here, you're safe. I love you. Let's have some food. That's all you need right there. I love you. You're safe. Okay. And then I would add, have a nap. So there are many out there that don't have any of that. Absolutely none of it. But I don't know. I know some people that have had homelessness in their past. Boy, I tell you, those people have absolutely come on a higher plane when they look back to what has happened to them, at least the folks that I know. Okay. So know that we are going through a really big time right now. We're going through a hard time. And I'm hoping that, and I'm honoring you folks that are having a hard time right now, honoring you, holding you, I'm holding you. But I'm hoping we're picking up what's going on right now, because Spirit is laying down some stuff, you know, and there's a lot to learn right now. There's quite a few questions here. I don't know how much time you have, Kelly. Do you have another like 10 minutes?
I'm open.
So let's just say, let's stop on the questions now, but we'll go back. Okay. So what I was trying to say regarding the Scorpio moon is that it is bringing out all of what is really true, and making us in this particular time with this particular energy that's coming in now, right now, which is after the moon, which is just bearing away who we truly are. So who are we? You know, it's totally fine. If you aren't feeling good, it's totally fine to spout off for a minute, go have a nap, but then get up and get back into that good energy. You know, it took me a few days, but I got back into that really good energy, because it's also there. The deep, deep peace is there. And if you ride that love train, seriously, it's higher energy than anything you could think is out there. it's higher energy. Trust me on that. Okay. So where are we at here? There was one I didn't want to miss. Okay, so Janice says, I've had some weird bladder pain. This is Janice. For over a year, I've had tests, antibiotics, procedures, and nothing's wrong. The pain comes for a couple weeks and then goes, but always comes back. Any insight? Bladder pain.
There's some emotional trauma I'm getting. Now, again, with all of this, I'm not a doctor in any way. That I can only tell you what kind of comes through, but always see your doctors and, you listen to others who want to help you. But number one, trust your own energy and your own instincts, and always seek a professional. But if you go, I'm getting, like, first of all, if you go to Ayurvedic, isn't that how they say Ayurvedic healing, that will help tremendously. For me, with all the things I've gone through, the biggest one that helps me with lupus and with so many other things that I've gone through and experienced, and cellulitis and all these things, apple cider vinegar is really good for me, because I take 2 in the morning and 2 at night, the capsules. I don't like the flavor of it, unless it's a pickle. But otherwise, I'll just take the capsules because they work. And whenever I'm getting really bad bladder pain, that seems to really help. It helps get your body out of the acidic state into the alkaline state. In an alkaline state, not much bacteria can grow. In an acidic state, everything can grow, from cancers all the way up, or even just infections and colds in your bladder. But I'm getting that there's a 2-part to this. There is something there, but you have the power to get this taken care of. And the other part is, it's an emotional, something from childhood, something where you weren't allowed, or it actually could even go, it could even go back to when you were being potty trained as a child, right? There was some fear, and that fear is stuck with you without even knowing it. And now it's kind of manifesting, because that's another thing that's happening right now. Since this last full moon, a lot of people are kind of going back to childhood experiences and having to clear it out so that it's out once and for all. And then once it's out, you replace that energy with love. So I just wanted to make sure to say that part. When it's the same thing, when we cleanse a home, we refill it with love and light. We don't leave an empty space for something else to come in that's not of love and light, because there are always energies that try to take over. I think it's just part of Earth. It's part of maybe different parts of the galaxies. I don't know, but you want to fill the container, whether it's a home or the womb, the body. We want to fill that with love when you release something else. I would definitely go the Ayurvedic way. That's what I'm hearing more than anything, that will help. And maybe it's probiotics. Maybe you weren't on the right one. I'm hearing like you may have already tried that wasn't the right one for your body, which is very sensitive, extremely sensitive. So just like what I do, I use the apple cider vinegar. That's something you could do right now, and then check into the Ayurvedic healing. That's going to help tremendously. And then coconut oil is another one. Now, again, I'm not a doctor, but that's what's coming through for you.
Awesome. Well, I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on the radio. But Kelly gave me 5 pounds of coconut oil. I have to tell you, Kelly, I've already eaten a pound.
So my friend.
I eat it by the spoonful. I put it on my face and my body. So Janice, I would offer you, for fun, because Janice was a childhood friend of mine, I would offer you an emotion code release. And we go right to that organ and clear out the emotions. So if you want to do that with me, please to Facebook Messenger me, and we can do it. It's a thing that you'll just be so glad you did.
And I did it with you, and it helped tremendously. So
it does. You can clear out all kinds of stuff. And the body right now is just really purging. So those people who are having any type of illness, I will say any type of illness. What did she say? Any type of illness. Right now, the body is cleaning themselves for the light to come in. Yes. So please go there, kids. Okay. So
and maybe you emphasize it's also healing.
It's
so
healing.
That's
the beauty of it. And so one thing that was so awesome that Kelly just said too is that when you purge it out, and trust me, I purged in the last 2 years. I purged, baby. You got to put the healing back in, because if there's ever a space, who taught us that? Some science guy taught us that, right? Okay. So, okay, so Janice is so good. So Janice, take me up on that. I tell people all the time, and then they never do. But just, you can do something good for somebody after me in the name of whatever we did for 10 minutes. Okay, so there's Rick, Brother Rick Robinson. Okay, and then Marty says, thank you. So Nick is going to be the last question, unless I scroll back through and there's some burning need. Now, Nick has a possibility, and I think it's still a possibility because I haven't heard any different, that he has cancer. Okay, he doesn't know that yet, I don't think. So this is Nick M. Okay, and I have something to say about that when you get done, sweetie.
So the first thing that came through, even if you do, you're already protected. Hold on to the love and light within. So even if, no matter what the highest amount they would say, but I'm kind of getting that it's going to be negative. And again, I could be wrong. I'm just a grain of sand on the whole beach. I'm one little grain. But I'm telling you that even if worst case scenario, you'll be okay. You have to hold on to your own significance. You were born to be here. You were born to make a difference, and you are making a difference. That's your key. That's your strength. That's the warrior within you. Use that same energy that you do for so many others for yourself, and know that you're protected.
Yes, and Nick, that's the thing, is he does do a lot of good for people, and he does have some awesome skills. So Nick, what I would say to you is I'd watch your emotions right now. Are you looking at the TV and feeling fearful? So that will be a vibration you'll want to get up out of, okay? And again, I would offer to you a quickie appointment to clear that out. And the last question, I said that would be the last one, but I just want to say, Barbara says, our family's had a 130-year-old farmhouse, very peaceful. Her girls have come run up to her room years ago, said they heard singing. I have a picture that shows a cloudy image. Are these old family members?
Yes, and they crossed over. So our loved ones, when they cross over, whatever we knew of them and loved of them can come back, even though the soul is omnipresent and continues on. Just like my grandmother in spirit, she's always with me, what I knew and loved of her, and she's watching over me, but her soul has continued on, whatever else her path is. It's the same thing with what's going on here. And so the singing is them. They are now the caretakers, the stewards of the earth, and not just of that farmhouse. I believe there's another land that was attached that was sold off. So that's connected. They're there as well. And that singing is just in love and light. It's not a negative in any way, shape, or form. And long after you all cross over, they will still be there. Who knows? Part of your essence may choose to come back. Once you cross over, you can choose to do that. This is why, especially children will tell you, I see my grandma, if they never even saw their grandma in their, like they were born afterwards when the grandmother crossed over, they will tell you how they looked, what they wore, that they're around, and it's because they chose to come and watch over and to be a guardian, or I would say an angel to watch over. So if they've come up to say, oh, we heard singing, that's a really prayers and singing or little chants. Those are real ways of people coming in or coming back and choosing because they loved it so much. And many times they were caretakers or gatekeepers or watchers from before, and they chose to come in here, and they want to keep an essence of them to protect who's ever there and to keep that loving light. And I think there may be some kind of a vortex nearby, so that's another reason they chose to stay. So she may see things, or the children may see things. That's a part of what that is. But it's a very good entry and exit.
Absolutely,
portal.
it is.
Negative.
She says that the house has no electricity. That's why that's easier to feel.
Yes, very much so.
Mhm.
So there's not that type of electrical frequency, right? So it's really layered underground quartz crystal or limestone. I mean, it's all around the earth, but especially in certain areas, it's even more. Here in Washington, it's enormous. And then down in Georgia and places like that holds a lot of energies. And so again, it's like a crystal quartz holding energies. And we know for a fact that people who don't believe that, I mean, the quartz crystals, runs the computers, what runs the radios and the televisions, and they do laser work now with quartz crystals, and it holds energies and data, libraries and libraries and libraries filled. So
Absolutely.
when we start wearing them, and the kids could wear it or just put one around, you may even feel more love and light, like the angels and the guardians of that farmhouse. You'll be able to sense even more joy, more harmony, because that's what they are. They're love bugs. That's it.
Absolutely, they sure are. Yeah, she says there's a big vortex
Nice.
in East Sound. Okay, so and the last one there, this is the absolute last because we're 9 minutes over, kids, is my friend Stephanie, my Shasta sister, says her mother, so Stephanie's mother said there's a negative spirit in Stephanie's home that dislikes men. I think your mom's just trying to tell you, be careful with your boyfriends. I'm just kidding. We're going to look.
Okay. Stephanie's mom is very, more than empathic. She's not only able to sense, but she's able to project energy, and she really loves you so much. And it's about making sure you have the right one so you don't get hurt. It hurts her spirit when you're hurt.
Oh my God, I got it, but it was a joke. Sometimes that happens, kids. Sometimes
Yeah.
you get, being the AA I am, sometimes it comes through in a joke. So Holy Ones, is that the absolute? Yeah, baby. Okay, so I want to thank you, Kelly. You are just a treasure. And I thank everybody.
So are all of you, all of you. Again, no one behind us, below us, up or above. We're all sacred. We're all worthy. We're all just learning and finding where we fit in.
It's true, because Kelly and I attend the same Tuesday night group, and one of the things we know about being in the Tuesday night group is people will, I do this all the time. I will say, so who's psychic out there? And boy, better everybody raise their hand, because we all are. We are. But do you work on it all the time? Do you sense it? Do you play with it? That's what we want you to do. Just play around with this stuff. It's nothing to be scared of. If you are feeling scared or worried, it's usually just this thing right up here. Okay.
Call your angels in. Call your own angels.
Absolutely.
Archangel Michael's the one who, with the shield and the sword, call him in as you're trying to find out where you fit in. And because we all have these gifts, the gifts of prophecy, the gifts of understanding, and basically all we're really doing is walking each other home. So we're all pieces of the puzzle, and we're all supposed to find each other in love and light and make a difference, however that is. Sometimes it's just for ourselves, and we're supposed to do better, right? And it's okay. You don't have to run out there and help a million people, because if you work on yourself, you're right there making the difference.
You absolutely are. And China, you are doing a great job. You're not missing anything, honey. I just want you to know you're not missing anything, and you are doing great. And I am so, so proud of you. And everybody who came on today, thanks so much for doing this. There's lots of new people next week from all over the place. Now, Kelly has a new book out. We just want to make sure that you mention that, Kelly. Or it's coming out, right?
It's coming out.
June.
Yes, in June. And it's a year to almost the date of when I almost died with the surgery and everything. They found some kind of deadly eating flesh virus or something, and it's extremely severe. But I'm here, and the book is all about what we went through. Can we talk for just one quick moment? Because I want to share something that you were a part of, Mary.
Absolutely.
Do you remember when I was coming out of the anesthesia and I couldn't get back in my body, and I kept telling you there was like all these bodies pushing my body up, but I was in such a fog with the anesthesia and everything, but I knew I couldn't get my spirit back in my body. And so these bodies, what I didn't understand, were trying to push the body so that my soul could come right back in. And I talked to you about that, and we understood that these were just people that had crossed over during surgery who thought it was their job to help. But really, we needed to cross them over so that they could come back if they chose to do that.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
They saw the light, but they weren't going. So you helped me in the hospital bed on the phone, where we called and opened the veil so that they could cross over, and they all went home. Well, I never told you And it's in the book. The next day, the nurse went down there to talk to see what was going on. There's a few other things connected, but it's in the book. And she said that they felt a change down there. Like there were people who were kind of sobbing, and a couple of the nurses were just feeling overwhelmed with love and joy, and like something had shifted. And it's just, it's amazing the difference that had happened there. Like the energy had lifted. There had been, without them understanding, a heaviness for almost 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we truly together made a difference. And all we did is walk in that unconditional love and light and try to open the veil and try to send them home so that they could cross over and come back. And there are other energies there now to help and bless, and angels and guides. So this is what Mary is all about.
That gives me chills. I only ever get a chill if it's something that's the absolute truth. And you know, that's been, Kelly and I were just talking about this last week, is that how many souls are ready to go home now that have been earthbound. And that's what many of the psychopomps, and there's a couple of them on this call here. And so we are just thankful for those who do that, because people are ready to go the other side. And you know, it's all of our perceptions too, because maybe we might perceive that big beautiful light ahead of us is a doggone freight train that's going to run us over. But what if it's a sun, everybody? What if it's a beautiful light? You know, what if it's an angel with the flashlight? I don't know.
Trying to help you awaken and get you out of that darkness and that contention, that anxiety, and bring the light. You're not going to go, if it's not of love and light, you're not going with it, right? You're protected with your own angels, those you may never see, that are right there, and specific purpose is to keep you here and keep you blessed and keep you protected. So
absolutely. Well,
so the book's called In Between, and that'll be out in June.
Okay, awesome. And then how do people find you?
Okay, I'm not that well technically. I am technically challenged, but here we go. So it's Haunted Healings 1 at wixsite.com. And then Wixsite, WIXSITE. And then there's Haunted Healings 1 at gmail.com. And then Haunted Healings on Facebook. And then my own Facebook page as well, Kelly Kelleher.
And come to see us. We're going to be back at the IHOP.
With Lou J. Free, the Psychic
Lou J.
Free.
That's right, Psychic Showcase. So come on back and see us. You know, that's our family, you guys. So when we go do that, that's a whole bunch of people that can just be people off the street and magical avatars. You don't know who you're going to meet there. So please come on down. It's Tuesday, and it's not going to start for a while, until after whatever. So love to everybody. Please come back and see us and hang in there in that love and light. Thank you, Kelly. I love you.
Welcome. Love you too.
Bye, everybody.